what experiences or qualities do you think you had when you started? What were the things you had to learn as you progressed in editing?
What I had to learn practically was different in those days, as you know, because it was film. I'd learned quite a lot in 6 years as an assistant editor before I went to film school. What I learned at film school was actually how to cut picture, which I didn't learn at all before, because no one ever gave me anything to cut before I went to film school. So the great thing was to cut such a variety of material at film school and get confident with it. What I learned then, after leaving, was a lot about politics, actually, and about the politics of the cutting room. For example, on Judge Dredd, there were lots of, influential producers on the show as well, and so it's quite interesting to cut in that kind of environment, which is sort of like being in a war zone sometimes.
Yes.
Which, as you know, so those kind of things one learns as one goes as well. Although film school was quite helpful for that, because there were always contrasting opinions and people coming to the cutting room during film school. So again, some good training to be had at the film school.
Do you think you were always a natural diplomat?
Absolutely. I'm in the middle of my family, four girls, and I was always the middle one who was like making sure the eldest one and the youngest one got on and that kind of thing. And I think the element of writing in editing is an influence for me, because I think I'm strong on structure, and I can tell. I think my writing influences from my father and from reading a lot when I was young have helped me with editing. I think that's a strong influence.
So do you remember going back again? Do you remember looking at your father's scripts and so on in relation to the films, or was that just it was just around? Or?
I read my father's scripts. They were purely dialogue. There were no stage directions, unlike Robert Bolt or someone who would write stage. And my father always said, I'm a totally non-visual person. Your mother is the visual person, and I am totally non-visual. So I think I got my visual side from her. She's very artistic. She was a painter.
Right.
And so I think I've got a good combination of their qualities in that I'm quite verbal, and I can see what's good about the written word. But my mother, had a visual sense, which I think I've got. I have a photographic memory. Everything I remember, I can remember visually who said it and almost what they were wearing, which is a burden sometimes. I've got too much information. But that's good for editing.